Hello and welcome to week 44 of Writing and Publishing LitRPG. If this is your first video, welcome, and if it's not, great to see you again. In these videos, I try to go through my work week as an indie author and publisher, giving some information about what it means to live by writing and publishing books. I try to offer a balance between the craft and the business side of what I'm doing, so if this sounds like your cup of tea, I would appreciate you subscribing to the channel. With introductions taken care of, let me start with my Monday. Since I prefer writing at cafes, I got there at around 10:30 and looked at my emails, giving my head some time to realize that it's work time, but also to make sure urgent emails are replied to. Over the weekend, one of our German narrators finished producing and mastering the first romance audiobook in our catalog. This is going to be a duet audiobook, meaning a man voicing the male chapters and a woman the female chapters, which is especially exciting for me since we've never produced something like this. As I was preparing the audiobook to be uploaded, I noticed its duration was 9 hours and 46 minutes. Since this audiobook will be published on Audible, I should explain why this was something I needed to take care of. You see, Audible doesn't allow us indies to price our audiobooks, but prices them according to their duration. Namely, a book that is below 10 hours is sitting on a price step, then 10 hours to 19 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds audiobooks sit on a higher price step, and 20 hours and above sit on the highest step. There are more steps for books below 10 hours, but I haven't looked into them, so I'm not mentioning them at all. In any case, and this is no exact math, having compared big numbers from multiple audiobooks, we know that these steps result in different net income for us authors. Each step is on average $1 difference, and considering that this is the first book in a long romance series, $1 per sale might just be the deciding factor of whether we continue producing the audiobooks or not. For this reason, I asked our narrators to add a sneak peek of book 2 in order to bring the duration to just over 10 hours. There were more emails I took care of, but really most of my time was invested in continuing my outline. Today, I managed to reach the point where the boys are accepted in the university, and I'm very happy with the way I'm able to make my outline better. Namely, I have reached 17.7 thousand words of expanded outline and have gone through 17 out of the 66 pages of my handwritten outline. Actually, today I realized it's 65.5 pages, so it might seem that the percentage is a bit higher. This means I've reached almost 26% of the total work I have to do before I actually start writing my first draft of this story. 1/4 of this stage is done, and I hope that I'll be able to keep this up and finish in November. Regardless, I stopped writing at around 3 p.m, at which point I headed back home for lunch and replied to some more emails. Great start to the work week. Today is the last day of the month, which means that Amazon paid us authors. Payments from Amazon have a 2-month delay, which means that today, being the end of October, we receive the royalties earned during August. I think I've mentioned this before, but today is my favorite day, though not for the obvious reason. The day Amazon pays me is the day I'm paying out many of the people I work with. That is narrators, translators, editors, virtual assistants, content creators, and so many more people. Also is the day I put the author's royalties to the digital piggy banks I have created, saving them for the date we have contractually agreed on as payment dates. On these days, I understand that what I'm doing business-wise creates value and has an effect on people's lives beyond the creative part. Also, I was raised with the philosophy that I should never owe money to anyone, so wanting to take care of all payments in time is something that offers me satisfaction, if not just alleviating any kind of stress that comes from pending payments. In any case, after I took care of payments, I headed to my favorite neighborhood cafe to continue my outlining. The point I'm expanding right now is the orientation week, and I sometimes had to stop myself from writing too much. I think this is both a good and a bad sign. It is good because I wrote almost 4,000 words with relative ease, meaning that I very much enjoy writing this story, at which point it's more slice of life. So when the time comes to actually write the first draft, it will be all the more enjoyable because I'll just let myself go. On the other hand, I need to take care of not losing myself in this process because as much as I like it, I'm still outlining, not writing the novel. If I continue expanding the outline, I will never start writing. But I suppose this is a good problem to have if you're not worried about deadlines, which I'm not at the moment. Thus, I managed to reach page 20 of my handwritten outline with a total of 21.2 thousand words. This brings me to almost 31% completion. I like those numbers. Here's to hoping I keep them up tomorrow. Before heading out for the day, I made some promo posts for today's release. We usually release our LitRPG on Thursdays, but since today is the last day of October, I thought we'd end with a bang. The bang being Seth Ring's Battlemage Farmer Book 6, which is one of the most successful German LitRPG series at the moment. And that was the day for me. Wednesday started with, you guessed it, admin tasks. The romance audiobook I was talking about on Monday is now ready and counting 10 hours and 16 minutes. This means we are ready to go live on Audible. This doesn't mean that the book will go live, of course, because Audible sometimes even takes 2 weeks or more to release a book, and we're completely in the dark as to why or when it will go live. So we just wait patiently, having our promo materials ready to go whenever the audiobook is released. Apart from that, a few more invoices came in and I took care of them, making sure to update my sheets about pending payments and my ROI spreadsheet where I hold most information about how the books and business in general is going. Keeping up with the progress of each title over time helps making important decisions that might save me from losing money and, most importantly, reduces the stress levels because I know where I stand at all times. There is one thing that I don't know where I stand though, and I remembered it again today. A few months ago, a German audiobook production company reached out to produce some audiobooks. I decided to give them a try despite their horrible terms, with a series that I wasn't really going to produce in audio anyway. The deal was a royalty split between them, us, and the narrator. It's been several months since they were supposed to send us payments, and they've been ghosting us. I reached out to one of the authors whose name they use in their testimonials on their website, so I'm hoping she might have some more info on them. But then this issue kept bugging me, so I went into the contract we signed and googled the names in the contract. One of the company owners is a narrator living in Germany, and she had her German number in her website, so I called her. What she said is that she sold the company 6 months ago and she will let the new owner know about my book's case. How much of that is true and if something will come of it is anyone's guess. Back to outlining though. I made good progress today, completing page 24 of the written outline with 24.5 thousand words in the Google Doc. This means we're at almost 37% completion. Slowly getting there. I finished writing at around 3 p.m. and then prepared one new series that will soon be releasing its first book as German audio. Everything is ready and I'm waiting for the narrator's final check green light before submitting it. And that's all for now. I was planning on going for D&D but our session was cancelled, so I suppose I'll game on my Switch for a bit. Today was such a mixed bag of a day for me. I slept well, I woke up early, and I had enough energy to write 50,000 words. But I had to stay home because we were expecting some people to come and fix something, and of course they only provided date and no time. This meant that I had to stay home and wait for them, spending most of my creative time doing tasks that should have been done later in the day. So I started by taking Poco for a long walk, knowing that I wouldn't be writing anytime soon, and then carrying on with admin work. Thursdays are normally our LitRPG release days, but since we released on Tuesday, I thought I should promote an audiobook that was released yesterday. Sosaku Online is one of my favorite series, and in fact one of the best received book ones out of all LitRPG series, so it only made sense we produced it. And of course, I did my best to promote it and get the word out. There were more emails I worked on, but one that was of note was from a company that produced one of our first audiobooks. This was a Danish company that had lots of German narrators, and we worked on a freelancing basis, meaning they produced the audiobook and I paid them for it. Or rather, I would have paid them for it, but after the production, they were bought out by a bigger company and stopped replying to my messages. Every now and then, I would get an email with an invoice in Danish crowns, but the amount was wrong and they would initially respond to my emails, but then disappear again. In any case, today I was finally forwarded to someone who was actually able to solve this, and I will soon be getting the correct invoice so that I can cross it out from the back of my head. The production fee isn't insignificant, But knowing that I had not paid someone, even though it was because of their omission and they're a company big enough that this didn't matter to them, made me feel uneasy. Also, it really threw off my calculation about the ROI of that particular series. In any case, at some point the workers were done. Well, not done, but finished at least, around 1 PM, so I went to the cafe afterward, but at that point it was already kind of late, meaning I did not have too much left in me. I was writing fast at first, but after a couple of hours the words were not flowing easily anymore, so I called it quits instead of pressuring myself. I only managed to write 2.6 thousand words today and reached 26.5 pages of the handwritten outline. That is a bit over 40% completion. I hope that tomorrow is going to be a better day production-wise. There is no better feeling than waking up to your dog licking itself an hour before you usually wake up. While I did manage to sleep again a bit longer, I was up by 9 AM and at the cafe around 10. I was not too excited about the beginning of my day, but there was some catching up to do from yesterday. In general, I try to write the script for each day of these videos at the end of said day. This helps me with remembering what I did and also acts as a good retrospective for the day. However, yesterday I went out drinking with a friend and didn't bother doing it when I returned, which meant I had to start my day by writing down what happened yesterday. Only once that was done, along with a few more emails, did I start outlining, which was a bit after 10:30. Usually, there are not too many people around on Discord at that time, but thankfully, Lars Machmuller was online and we sprinted together. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but sprinting is the Pomodoro technique of authors. Write for a certain number of minutes, then rest for 5 to 10 minutes, and then do it all over again. It is a good trick to keep the mind engaged, but also take breaks to avoid getting tired early. We kept this up for 3 hours, and by the end of it I had written 2.7 thousand words and crossed page 30 of my notes. This means I have reached 46% completion of the second outlining pass. Today, it didn't seem like each page came out to be 1000 words, but I think that's because I am now outlining the actual courses for which I took quite detailed notes of. For this reason, there's a lot less to expand on, though I think this will change as I add a few elements to the whole story that I completely missed when I was writing the first outline. So I suppose this was the week for me. I wrote close to 16,000 words of outline and I'm almost halfway there. I feel like I'm moving slower now that I'm in the long middle part, but at the same time I know that it's always like this, so I'll just keep on going. Thank you everyone for joining and consider subscribing to this channel if you enjoy this type of content. Okay, bye!